It's that time again. It's time for our weekly assignment from Margarete Miller, and we are on week number 17. I hope you guys will join me, and let's put together a collage. Hi, everybody. It's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio, and like I said, we are going to do the collage weekly assignment, which is by Margarete Miller. She has created 52 weekly prompts to expand everybody's creativity, and I think it's an excellent exercise. You can purchase these from her at Mellow Miller on Etsy, and she has 3 options. You can purchase just the prompts, which is what I've done. You can purchase a weekly planner that's the actual physical planner, and you can also purchase a digital copy of the planner that you can download and put together yourself in either an altered book or you know, make your own journal out of it, whatever you want to do. She gives you 5 prompts and 1 bonus every week, and you can choose to do the 5 prompts that are given. If you can't find one of those or you don't like it, you can substitute with a bonus, or you can do all 6, and I normally try to do all 6. And like I said, we are on week 17, and when I finish with this year, I will take these prompts and put on the back of each page, so that I have something just, you know, if I ever want to look back and say, what was I supposed to do that week, then I can see the prompts on the back that were given to me. So we're on 17. Here are some of the previous weeks, and these are available in a playlist if you want to know how I did any of these or what the prompts were for a particular week. As time goes on, I won't flip through all these because obviously we're going to get to where there's too many. But and so this was last week, and so we'll go to a blank page. And this week we're going to go up and down like this because my pieces are quite big. So this week we have something round, a piece of map, a shoe, a tool your grandparents would have used, a postal item, and the bonus is one of the elements torn apart. So I'm going to use this for a piece of map, and this will actually be the piece that I'm going to tear apart. For something round, I have a couple of things actually. I've got some raspberries, which are round. And I've also got this little stamp on this mason jar that has circles around the letters. And that may be my only round items actually. So that takes care of our round. For a shoe, I've got this little boot. It's not a little boot, it's a big boot that I found. This has been in my stash for a while, and I think it was just from an Etsy search for something else that I was doing, but I love it. Somebody has hand drawn this boot with a little lacy sock, and I just think it's so cute, and I love the colors, and I love the colors with the map. So that's going to be our shoe. A tool your grandparents would have used. This one I thought was quite interesting because when I think about my grandparents, my grandfather on my mother's side died when my mother was a teenager, and so I never knew him. And my father's grandparents were quite modern, I guess, for the time, and they, my grandfather worked for a utility board here, and my grandmother was a stay-at-home wife. But they were modern. They always had, you know, the most modern cars and their house, and, you know, the way they dressed and things like that. And so I couldn't really think of a tool that they would have used that would have been interesting, I guess, to put in a collage, if that makes sense. My grandmother on my mother's side, however, grew up in the hills. Her father worked at a lumber mill in Kentucky, and she married, you know, my grandfather quite young. She had 12 children, and she was what you think of when you think of a grandmother. She was a quilter. She was a canner. She will, you know, they raised vegetables. You were kind of afraid to go into her freezer because you never knew what was there, because everybody that lived on the mountain where she lived brought her whatever they happened to shoot that day. She had squirrels in her freezer. She had fish. She had rattlesnakes. She had, you name it, it was in her freezer. It was quite a scary place to venture to. So when I think of tools and things that are interesting, I think of my mother's mother, my grandmother. So for tools, what I have picked is, like I said, she canned everything. So I have a mason jar. I have a canning funnel that's set on top of the jar like this, and then you could funnel, you know, whatever you were canning down into the jar. And I have a needle and thread and a thimble, because those were her tools. And so they may not be typical tools that, you know, one would think of when you think of a tool, but these were her tools. So that's what I have chosen for tools. And then a postal item, I just have a stamp that I'm going to stick on my collage somewhere. And like I said, the bonus is one of the elements torn apart, and that's going to be this map, because I'm going to tear it apart to create my background. Now, with that being said, I am going to attempt to tear down this somewhat to look like quilt squares. Now, first of all, I need to mark how wide I want it and where I want it. And I think I could probably go ahead and use it on the edge, because my boot's going to go here. So, and this is 49 in market paper, and it is called Kite-Moore Backwoods is the name of the paper collection. And so it's kind of showing, you know, some kind of hiking trails, I guess, from somewhere. Okay, so we're going to trim this down first. I just got my little paper trimmer over here, because I don't think we're going to have to do much cutting of anything. And it needs a new blade really bad. Of course, it's probably not helping that I'm sitting on top of my book instead of on the table. Okay, where did I put that other mark? I hate when that happens. mark it and then you can't see it. I think it's, let me cut off this branding strip here and get it out of the way. And the bad part is I have another blade. I just need to put it on there. Isn't that terrible? Whoops. Knocking things over. If I could ever make a video to where I wasn't knocking things over, it would be a miracle. Okay, so this is what we're going to start with. That'll pretty much cover up my whole background, but what I want to do is I want to tear it up. And I guess I could almost go on these lines that are kind of on the paper. Let's try that. Let's see. This is really thick paper, so I'm hoping it's going to tear okay. I'll do it this way. This video may show you how klutzy I really am. Okay. I should have kept that better together so I'm not trying to figure out how to put it back together all day. All right. Okay, that goes there. Okay, we got it. All right, so now what I want to do is I think I want to take like a piece of just tea-dyed paper or some scrap of paper here. I might have to use this because I have a little bit of should have gotten this piece out ahead of time, but I didn't because I didn't. All right. Maybe this No, I want something lighter than that. That's too dark. Okay, let's do this. This is just a piece of tea dye, tea stained. And I'm going to cut or tear, do it this way. Needs to be a little narrower than okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to, in between these, I might have to tear these down a little bit to make it work. I'll try to keep them in order this time. Okay. So if I put this down first, this is going to be like my outside border of my quilt. I hope. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But that's what makes it fun, right? Okay, so there's that outside border. Now, let's ink these pieces. The sponge is spongy, is coming apart. All right, so then if we okay, what's my next row look like? All right, so I want a piece for here and for here. I don't know if this is gonna work, guys. We're gonna try it. All right, then I'm gonna go, I'm putting the glue on the paper because I think it'll be easier, but we'll see as we progress if that's gonna do it. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to cut off or tear off the top piece. Okay, now before that dries, I need to get another piece down through here. Oh, that one's not long enough. No. Probably gonna have to go back and art glitter all these corners because that scrapbook paper is pretty stout. All right, so my next section, I only need 2 sections now that I'm putting that border in there. So that one's going to go like that, and then we need a piece of border that goes in between those. So we need a piece here. We need a piece here. Okay, let's ink those up. Okay, I'm not going to stick that top part till I get this in there. And I'm not worried about that outside edge too much because that boot is going to take up about all the space that we have on the far side. And then glue this, excuse me, glue this on, and then I'll trim where it's going over the edge. Okay. Okay, let me trim this. Put the top of my glue stick and my pen in my, oops, in my other glue. While we're working on this. For those of you that think I'm nuts right now, I'm hoping my vision is going to come together, and what I have in my mind actually transfers to the paper. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But if you don't try, you'll never know, right? Okay, so there is our so-called quilt. Now, what I want to do is I want to take my little zigzag I think I'm going to use black, actually, or black soot. I'm going to take my little zigzag stitch. Yep. And I'm going to stamp right on the corner of the map in the border. Trying to decide if I want to go up. Yeah, I think I do. I'm going to have to adjust my stamp before I get on this side, I think. Oh, turn it this way. sorry I'm being quiet. I'm afraid I'm going to mess this up. I'm trying to really concentrate on what I'm doing here. Okay. And then technically there will be one right there going down my oh, look at that. Let's go ahead and do the other side too, even though I don't think it's going to show. And then across the bottom. Okay, there's our quilt. Made with our torn paper. And the only other thing I want to do is I want to take the vintage photo and I want to gently rub this tea-dyed paper and catch all those little wrinkles that are in the tea-dyed paper. Just the little stand-up, you know, little wrinkles. All right. So I think that's the hardest part of this collage. So the next thing we need to do, I believe, is put down our big old boot. And we're going to put it about right there, I think. So let's ink that. Put that straight part right on the edge. And actually, I don't want to glue that down yet because I think I want to put this jar kind of behind it. And this is a digital, and I cannot remember who I got this from, but I will try to look it up and link it. I've had it a while, but they're really cute. They're like fold over digitals that has, you know, the jar and you can fold them together to make them where they open up for cards or whatever, however you want to use them. Ooh, my little funnel is going to be kind of tight. Like I said, all my elements are really big this time. Should have made that a little smaller, I guess. And this is just, you know, I just searched canning funnels on Etsy. And then this was from some leftover scrapbook paper. And I just poked a hole in the needle part of it and stuck this piece of thread through it. Oh, and I gotta put my raspberries down, and I bet I'm gonna have to trim these down. This is a vintage advertising piece that I got with my others at an antique store. See, they're upside down, so they need to go this way. Maybe my funnel should go here. Maybe my raspberry should go in my funnel. And then I'm just going to stick the stamp on here like that. I think that works. Can't see a lot of the quilt. All right, so the mason jar needs to go down first. We're going to put it about right at the bottom of that piece of map there. Okay, and then a little funnel. Right there, and then we can slide the raspberries in. All right, now let's put our boot down. Don't tear my shoestring. And we'll just glue this on here so that we've got all the components. Because this was the one item that I couldn't really figure out how to get incorporated in there, but we'll just make it look like it's part of the label. All right, and then I have the thread. Do I want that there, or do I want it up here? Or do I want it? I probably should have put it underneath. Underneath the Sometimes it's a good thing that you don't get your edges glued down right. Sometimes that ends up being a good thing. Oh, and I've got my thimble too. The needle's crooked. It looks like it has a really bad issue going on. Oops. Made my thread come out. Do you all see this little gnat that's flying around? I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's about to drive me bananas. Okay, so let's do our number. Where did I put it? Oh, I've got these little raspberries too that I can kind of put on here. Okay. What did I do with my number? If I'm not forever losing something. I'm sure it's right in front of me. It's even on a block. I also can't find my pin to my glue. I told you it was going to be one of those days. And it most certainly is. Let me see if I left it. Hold what you got for just a second. And let me see if I left it over here. I did. So I think I'm going to put it right down here. And I'm going to do it in Vintage Photos so it doesn't stand out too much. Here we go. And we could put, just for good measure, one more little postmark. On that. And I believe that's got it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'm pretty happy with it. You can't see a whole lot of that map, but you can see it. And you can, I think, kind of tell that it's supposed to represent sewing. Maybe a little bit. Oh, you know, I might want to, I think I'm going to do some shadowing here. Let's do some right here around the boot. I say that every week. I say I'm done and then I'm not. And then I'm do something right here under these berries. And then this is just a water brush. And that pencil is water soluble. I know I've said that in previous videos, but in case we have somebody new that is interested. And so it creates a really good shadow. The pencils are really made for marking like china and stuff like that. And they made them water soluble so that, you know, when you bought the dishes or whatever and you took them home and washed them, you could wash the price off of them. But they're now a great tool for people that draw or do mixed media because they are water soluble and they're a really, really nice black that can be blended out to really charcoal kind of gray color, and it just makes a really good tool to use for shadowing. You can also use like a charcoal pencil and use water, you know, water pen with it, and it will give you a similar effect. It can be blended with water. You just want to highlight anywhere that you want kind of a shadow or kind of to accent, you know, the piece that you're working on. And then when it dries, it has a really nice faded shadow. I want to put just a little bit, and I need to sharpen mine. It's getting really dull. You have to be careful when you're sharpening them in the sharpener because they are very soft, and it'll really chew it up if you're not careful. I have, because I do pastel work, I have just like an old school pencil sharpener like used to be in your classrooms. Um, and that's what I use to sharpen mine and to sharpen my pastel pencils and my color pencils. You just have to make sure that the blades are really sharp on the inside of it. I found mine at a thrift store, actually. If you go to thrift stores that are, or this is what I have found where I am anyway. If you go to thrift stores that are close to schools, after the school year is over, a lot of the school teachers that say are going to retire, or they may be getting funds for new items, or they may be changing grades and have to have different stuff than what they have. They take their old stuff to the thrift store, and that's a good time to find flashcards and scissors and markers and all kinds of stuff like that for really good prices. And that's where I have picked up a lot of my like my pencil sharpener and stamps and a lot of things like that. It's a really good source for those type of things. So, okay, we are really finished now, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will be back this weekend for some just general journaling, and I hope you all come back and watch then, and until then, have a great rest of the week. See ya. Bye.